too. Hey, everybody. I had some cereal, in case you were wondering.
What kind
This is Sean. I enjoy Life cereal.
Cinnamon and regular.
Yeah, I like both, but I just had the regular this time. Sometimes, because it's got a little bit of a cinnamon flavor, even just the regular. So I like both, but today I just went with the regular. I wasn't feeling too spicy. I don't know.
I actually went literally like 6 months without eating any cereal, and I don't know why, but I ate cereal just last night.
Was it awesome?
I guarantee no one listening to this show who gets into the thread on Cage Side Seats and interacts with us will guess what the cereal is that I ate. And if you guessed it right, you will win a prize. So for the rest of the show, you can guess. And I'll let you
guess
know.
Or no?
Go ahead.
I don't really have a guess. I just wanted to know what the rules were.
Yeah, go for it.
Was it? Wasn't that? Was it?
It was not. It wasn't.
Throw up in your mouth a little bit. There wasn't that flavor.
Yeah.
General Mills throw up in your life brand cereal.
It wasn't a bird sent from General Mills to puke in my mouth. No.
Huh.
No.
That's disappointing.
What's up, Sean?
No, I'm not much.
He didn't introduce me. I'm Geno Morosco.
I was distracted by my burping, my imminent vomiting.
I am the editor-in-chief.
We have titles now?
Technically, that's right, because I think I just put manager on my email. So, like, if you email me at Geno Morosco.
Well, that's what it says on the masthead, because when I finally decided, like 6 weeks into being full-time, that I should have, like, an official e-cig, I went to the masthead, and it says I'm a manager.
Yeah, that's just like what it says, but, like, what's my actual... So, what I would say is I'm editor-in-chief, and you're managing editor.
Oh, we need to clean this shit up. I just went out here.
You just went out where?
To the masthead.
And there's
some Uprocks employees prominently featured.
Oh my, that's true. Yeah. I gotta ban him. Remind me to do that.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Just to ensure a clean break. No, look, there's nothing.
We don't want there to be any misconceptions.
Yeah.
That dude is fucking dead to us. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing against you. It's just that I hope you burn to death in a fire.
We're off to a good start.
All the best continued
wishing
success.
Death.
All the best continued success to Bob Handstock. There was a question.
Bob Danstick. He was a good dude.
Bob Danzig. There was a.
What's the Caddyshack? Oh fuck! I can't think of it. Go ahead.
There was a question. Someone asked, "Is Mark Normandin the replacement?" And as soon as I figure out what his actual name is, we'll let you know. I don't know if Mark is that right? Normandin or Normand? We'll have to ask him. Mark Mandible Claw. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He's still doing Rudo Radio.
He's doing Rudo Radio. He did some. He is definitely picking up some of Bill's slack on the mothership, which I don't know why you'd ever go read that stuff, because we do it better at Cage Side anyway. But you just can't get enough wrestling content from the SB Nation family. Well, Mark is taking that up.
You just ensured I'll be in meetings the rest of the day.
I gave him a plug. What do they want?
Even if it was shit talk, it was a plug. Yeah, I'll see how. I'll let you know.
They might not have known it existed. Now they do.
I'll let you know how that goes over.
People are listening right now, so.
See, this is where people are like, "Oh, that's why he ggets fired all the time," because I'm constantly trying to dig us out of a hole.
So that reminds me. So the last time I was prominently fired, I think, was you referred on Twitter. You said you had to hire a new managing editor. So that's what I was going to say. Is that my title? I don't. That's
your title. I just said that like 2 minutes ago.
No, you didn't. Roll back the tape. Roll it back.
I'm confident you're lying to me right now.
You did not say that.
Yeah, I'm editor-in-chief, which I think is just.
I know you said that.
Dog.
Yeah.
Eat a dick, Sean.
That is clear.
Yeah, you're managing editor, and then everyone under us is just various like lackeys. I feel, right? Like cronies.
So you yell at me, and then I go and try to smooth that over with everybody else on staff. That's how that works.
Yeah, we're making moves today too. By the way, I guess we can officially announce one of those moves. Reverend Kane. I don't know. I guess maybe we'll give you a shoot name at some point. Not today. Reverend Kane officially signed a contract with Cage Side Seats. He's going to be
Rev. You can't mess that up.
It's Rev. Yeah, he's officially a writer, getting paid. I decided to give him a couple donuts. And he was
getting a better introductory package than I got back in the day.
He was on board. Sean, come on.
I got burnt hot dog ends or whatever.
Burnt hot dog ends and companionship is what I offered.
You didn't even like me at first. You were like, "Oh, this motherfucker."
Camaraderie. No, I told a gay joke and you went along with it. And by gay joke, I mean I wanted to be gay with you. And by joke, I mean please go out with me.
Right.
And it didn't get like a bad response, so I'm going to hire him.
There you go.
And now I'm going to be in even more meetings talking about sexual harassment. No. So
it's
we're
only
here not to talk about all of this nonsense. Oh, there's other stuff going on too.
Welcome, Rev. I'm excited to have you on board, brother.
Rev, we're happy to have you. Everyone wish him well in the daily and all that good stuff. Decker's going to be signing a contract soon. I don't know if he has. If he hasn't, remind me to kick his ass. His official title will be Geno's whipping
Geno
boy.
Hates. Yeah.
Yeah, the whipping boy. And then, yeah, we got some other stuff going on too. So we'll let you know about the other stuff when it comes down the pipeline. We're here, since Sean's not guiding us there, to talk about NXT. You guys probably missed it. He rolled his eyes so fucking hard.
I did. It actually gave me a little bit of a headache. I rolled them so hard.
Sean, I love you.
Yeah.
Take it from here, man. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about the end of the beginning.
God, how lame was that?
They changed the name of the show to during the opening of the show.
Yeah.
It was the 11th live NXT event.
Wow.
Yeah, right. 10 of them have been called TakeOver something, and one of them was called Arrival. This was it was an interesting show for a couple reasons. One is because people got all worked up about the name. It was just called The End until last night at 8:01 p.m. Eastern time, and some people freaked out wondering if that. I think the more reasonable rumor was that maybe they would stop calling them takeovers, but people were also concerned that with the brand split coming up, maybe NXT would go away. None of that's happening, but it got some people talking. It was also the blow off of a long ass feud between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor in a steel cage, which was the first time the promotion's done that. And it was also the first show without any of the four horsewomen of NXT, notably even without Bayley, even though she's healthy and in
she was there.
NXT still. She was there, but she wasn't booked.
Appeared.
Right. So that for all of those reasons, people were like, well, I don't know what the fuck to expect with this show. And in my opinion, it turned out to be the usual, really solid takeover. For me, it's probably in the middle to the back end of my rankings of those 11 shows, but I was entertained for 2 hours. It had one of the best tag matches I think I've ever seen on it. So yeah, it was a good show.
Shortly after it was over, I received a text asking how was it, and the response I gave was essentially it was fun.
Yeah.
And I won't remember a damn thing about it in about a day. Yeah, and that's not even an insult, right? But like,
no, I mean, there's a lot of fucking wrestling out there that we have to watch and cover and talk about, and yeah.
I mean, there was nothing that really blew your doors off to where you were like, oh my God, you're gonna always remember this.
I mean, I think I will remember the tag match that way. I mean, your mileage
really
may vary, but
really good stuff. Good psychology. I felt like kind of strange. No, I guess it wasn't strange. It fell right along in with that. I think in some ways I thought it was strange, but now looking back and remembering, because it got really chaotic there, the whole story they told with that was really good. And I thought I saw someone say they're not telling a story. I said, bullshit, they're not. The story was American Alpha totally had their number. The Revival would cheat, and American Alpha would overcome it anyway. And then they would cheat again, and it looked like they'd maybe get an edge, and then they would overcome it anyway. And they would, as they were doing that, they would mix it into where they'd get both guys in, and they'd do some tandem spot, and the crowd would go nuts, and they'd be like, these are our guys. How wonderful is this? But the Revival just kept fucking cheating more and more and more and more as the match went along, and eventually they couldn't overcome that level of, fuckery, so to speak. So that's just good story. A bunch of douchey heels you don't like, cheating their asses off to try to keep getting an edge, and it didn't look like they were going to do it. It didn't look like they were going to pull it off, even though they were cheating. But eventually they did, and it's like, well, motherfucker, that's good stuff. That's good wrestling.
American Alpha is as close to being like universally beloved as it's possible in the NXT universe.
Yeah.
Outside of Bayley. And a lot of that, I think, goes to the Revival because they're just not. I mean, even people who love them like I do don't want to cheer them. because they're just shitheads. They are. I mean, they're great. They're great, like, old school Southern wrestling tag team, and they're just dickheads. You just don't want to cheer for them. And that makes those moments where they cheated, and then something happens where, like, Jason Jordan throws a dude to Chad Gable, who then catches him in the air and suplexes him. You pop even more for that kind of spot because you really don't like these dickheads, the Revival. So they've got really good chemistry together. I'm glad they you weren't high on their match at Dallas, and they did. There were definitely some like obvious botches in that match, and they didn't have that at all.
This one was much smoother.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they delivered. We've been hearing about on the house show circuit that they've been stealing the show all over the place, and so I'm glad that we finally got to actually see that on television. So yeah, that was. I mean, that to me. I mean, it was just a phenomenon. I mean, yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I'm hard pressed to tell you a lot of tag matches that like I love, even though I like tag wrestling. I don't know. It's kind of a lost art form, I guess, maybe.
And I felt like they did
really
everything.
Delivered.
Yeah, you would want them to do as far as what makes that good. They mixed in the cool tag team spots, and they all have really good chemistry together as far as working together, but also as teams themselves, right? Yep. Jordan and Gable are really great together. Dash and Doss are really great together. And then, like I said, the psychology of it was really good, and that they cheat to get in, but then the other guy, Jordan, will get in on the other side to help Gable, and then it breaks down into this chaotic mess, and then they team up, and as a tandem, overcome that, and they send the heels flying, and then the crowd can soak it all in and get into it. The heels can regroup and get pissy and figure out a new way to cheat. The baby faces can, and they're getting over with that. So it's just really just everything that they were doing was like exactly what pro wrestling is supposed to be, and it was super enjoyable for the fan watching at home. Even if you're like me, I'm not huge on American Alpha. I'm one of the few. I can kind of take them or leave them. I think they can be big stars. And so I can say that removed from how I personally feel, which is I don't really care either which way, and I especially don't care about the Revival. But I recognize this for what it is, and it's fucking about as good as it gets as far as tag wrestling goes, especially in 2016. So, well,
and then we got I think the other reason why this became like the most talked about thing on the night, and it's probably our most trafficked thing. Maybe the main event is beating it out a little bit in terms of our traffic, but the reveal of on the house show circuit, they call themselves the Authors of Pain. They are basically two giant motherfuckers who the joke I've seen the most on Twitter and places today is that they look like D'Lo Brown, which is kind of unfortunate, but now once you hear it, you can't unsee it. Man. But in addition to just coming in and wiping American Alpha out after the match, there were no rumors about this or anything, but Paul Ellering came back, was the manager of the Road Warriors and Demolition, and so now he's got some new hosses apparently. He doesn't say anything. He just stands on the stage while the idiots at Full Sail chant, "Who are you?"
Now here's the question. Were they chanting "Who are you" at Paul Ellering?
That's true. They could have been chanting it at either.
Or was it at the two people in the ring who they did not recognize? Also, and I think it's also unfair because when's the last time Paul Ellering was a television presence?
True, I guess, but
I can't believe you don't know him. I'm 25 years old. Like,
what do you kind of I don't know. If it was the only thing that Full Sail did last night, I don't think anybody would bring it up. But as it was one of 7,000 douchey, you're the worst examples of wrestling fans things that they did.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, I'm over it. I mean, my first NXT recaps were like, these guys are just about trying to get their shit in. I don't even mention it anymore because I've learned to live with it. But it is what it is. So
yeah,
they invent dueling chants when there's no cause for it. They chant, "This is awesome," 10 seconds before anything has happened.
They're the Joker of wrestling fans. They just do things.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. Yeah, Aries and Nakamura are at a rest spot, and it's all right. It's our time.
Yep.
He's
it doesn't ruin the show or anything. It's not. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think. The Ellering thing wouldn't have been a big deal if they had been like unobtrusive the rest of the night. But Owens called him out for it on Twitter.
Yeah,
so the guys started. Which Owens is in character on Twitter too. But they're kind of annoying.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean that's the big question, isn't it? I don't know.
I don't think it is. He seems like a fun,
I think it's the old. Yeah, it's the fact that his character is an extension of his personality. So it's
and I think someone said that to him too. There's like they were chanting it at the guys in the ring, and he's like, "That's possible." Still, fuck Full Sail.
Well, he's the dude that called Full Sail the John Cena of wrestling fans. So
they're really bad, dude. And
God, I mean, I part of it is we're all jealous. They get to see this shit all the time, and that's why I think they probably did know who. I don't know how to say their name. Selmani and Dinza, which is the dude's last names, the authors of Pain. I don't know. I think a lot of the Full Sail types go to the NXT house shows in Florida, which is where these guys have been working for a while. So
I think it's that elitism.
I don't really buy that they didn't know who they were.
I think it's a bit of the like elitism that comes from like inclusion. Essentially, right? So it's that thing that you get with people who, and it's the strangest fucking thing in the world when you kind of analyze it from any level beyond, just the baseline. Like, if you, let's say you discover a band, and you discover them when they're small, and then they get really big. How do you act when other people are like, "Oh, hey, have you heard this? It's wonderful." I've been here since the beginning, motherfucker. Yep. It's like, dude, you don't need to be that way. I feel like there's a level of that.
Triple H has built NXT on that a little bit. That's sort of the part of the sales pitch. Is like, you want to know about these guys before they show up on Raw. I mean, it's aimed at, I know you don't like the word, but it's aimed at the smart. It's the person who's going to pay more attention than the person who just tunes in on Monday nights.
Yeah, I like that Triple H said in his post-show interview, not Q&A, because it's, it was with Kathy Kelly, but he said, I'm interested to see what the authors of Pain bring to the table, and I think it's right there in the name, Trips. I think they're going to bring Pain. I put that on Twitter, and Tape Machines is like, maybe they're going to bring manuscripts.
That's true. I mean, are they going to write the Pain? I mean, they're going to write like emo lyrics and sing them? Like,
they don't seem like those kind of guys.
No,
that would surprise me.
I think so. They don't really seem like big talkers.
They seem like what Primo and Epico are going to turn into when they lose, when they don't get anyone to come to Puerto Rico and get really depressed.
Like, or if they run out of hibiscus flowers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's the key to getting to those two.
Yeah,
just burn flowers. So, that should be a segment on Raw. Someone comes out and just takes some flowers and burns them in the ring.
That should be. Yeah. Can't be any worse than like Darren Young's life coach. So
exactly.
So it looks like the big rumor was that American Alpha was going to get called up. Well, the big rumor today was that like everybody's going to get called up. But it did. I mean, this did look like they're going to do a program with Authors of Pain, and H in his Facebook thing at the end was teasing that he wants to see more American Alpha versus Revival, but I guess that could happen on the main roster too.
No, because I mean, they're in a really weird place with NXT. In addition to,
well, it's the end of the beginning of what they were, and now they're no longer.
Yeah. Like I saw that quote and I was like, I'm going to write about this if that's a real quote. You said it in the Cage Side offices, and it's like, no, I assure you, he actually said those words. I don't know, because the other thing too that people all too often forget is guys like Kevin Owens were called up as champ and continued working in NXT. That if they get called up, it doesn't mean they're done in NXT. In fact, as was often the case, they're not. They are able to go from one city to another city and work multiple shows. So maybe, but that's another team that I feel they're going to need to be a SmackDown team away from Vince. Because,
which one? Both of them, or
American Alpha? Well, probably both of them, but yeah, American Alpha especially. Because maybe he'll get enthralled by Jason Jordan, but Gable's too small, and they're just too. They're too. It's smarky, I guess. They're too for the NXT crowd to be for Vince's vision of the WWE crowd, I feel.
Well, Vince doesn't like tag team wrestling, right? I mean, that's one of the things we hear a lot. Or he doesn't see money in it, which I guess
fucking books a lot of tag matches if that's the case.
Yeah, that's true.
Every fucking main event of Raw is some mixed tag against some group of people who are supposed to be feuding. It's really fucking tiresome.
Well, that's his only formula for like not just giving you the singles match he's going to give you on pay-per-view.
I don't know whatever happened. I wouldn't. I'd be fine with segments closing Raw.
No, the segments have to open Raw. That's a law. I think the United States Senate passed that.
The Senate,
even if it involves ladder conferences, you got to start with talking. Yeah, I don't. Well, didn't they've closed? I mean, with the David Flair thing was a talking segment that closed Raw. So.
Yeah, I mean they close Raw with segments sometimes, and it's funny, especially leading into pay-per-views. They'll do segments, like the tug of war between Brock and Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania. I can't believe they did that. That is so good.
Brock's it's amazing that Brock might want to leave and do something more fulfilling.
I wonder why he wants to go to UFC.
Yeah. I wonder why he doesn't feel fulfilled in WWE. I mean, they let him do tug of wars.
Well, we didn't. Oh man, his face too. Like he's like trying to get it. I'll beat your ass if you don't let it go. Why don't you just do it then, dude? Like why? Yeah. Won't you look? But then again, this is a promotion where Apollo Crews is in the back complaining to Big about Sheamus picking on him.
He doesn't like the new era.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about Brock in the UFC yet.
No, we completely didn't. Even though we went forever on Tuesday, we didn't even bring it up.
What do you think about it?
It's good for Brock.
Not really.
Well, I don't know.
It's good for him until the 9th of July when he's laying flat up staring at some lights. Mark Hunt's going to knock him clean out, dude. It's going to be.
I don't know.
There's probably a lot of WWE fans today who maybe have never seen Brock fight, right? Because it's been 5 years now. His last fight was 2011. Brock Lesnar is a very big man. Brock Lesnar is a very scary-looking man. Brock Lesnar is the epitome of what you would expect a bully to be. A man who is so used to getting his way, so used to everyone just bows down in front of him, so used to people responding to his stature with cowardice, that when someone actually punched him in the face, he fucking folded up like a cheap lawn chair. Now, it's not totally fair. Because he did weather the storm against Shane Carwin and come back and submit him. But, I mean, embarrassed him.
The question is do you buy Brock's explanation that he was a lot sicker than we knew then, and now he's not anymore?
I don't think there's any question that he was really sick. I mean, you can look at just what happened, right? He had multiple bouts of diverticulitis.
He had part of his intestine fucking removed.
His intestines. They fucking had to cut out some of his intestines. This was a big deal. Almost killed him.
Yep.
So there's no question that probably affected quite a few things. And, whatever. I can't speak on that. I'm not a doctor. Having said that, I'm not sure. I mean, you could maybe say that with the Overeem fight because what put him away was, the liver shot. Yeah. And, I mean, fuck this. Right? Oh, that's a big man, and he just blasted me in the midsection. I'd like to go home now. But Velasquez just embarrassed him, and he was the heavyweight champ, and that's the highest level of MMA. But Mark Hunt is at the highest level of MMA.
Well, he's not Cain Velasquez in his prime, though.
Now, yes, and that's the thing is you tend to Hunt. I mean, he was just outside a title shot himself recently. He's the highest level. You go, okay, but he's got his weaknesses. Yeah, but you talk about Brock, it's been the 5 years. And even at his best, how good was he? It's kind of hard to tell because, he's doing it against the Heath Herring, Couture when Couture was really old and, on the way out. Frank Mir, who, I mean, as noted, had a horseshoe up his ass.
Yeah, I mean, if Frank doesn't get the lucky sub in their first fight, there's never a second fight.
Yeah, it just obliterates him. So I mean, and then in the second fight, as we saw, it did obliterate him. Now it's also, I think it's worth noting too, the response to. I think he showed in the Carwin fight that he can respond well to adversity, but I mean, how clean did he get hit? I guess in that fight to determine that, because then in the Kane fight, I mean, he didn't want to be there. It looked very clear. He was like dancing across the fucking octagon, like couldn't answer with any punches of his own. Was just you cannot cower away from punches in a fight. You can't. You're fucked. You're going to get hit. You have to be okay with getting hit. To not like just fine punch me, but that cannot be your response to physical contact in a fight. And his response is very poor. And he happens to be fighting a guy who, if you haven't seen him, he's really fun to watch. Go watch his fights. He's known for walk-off knockouts. He's really fucking powerful. And if he lands even with half the power that he has, a clean enough shot, is Brock just going to go down? I mean, he's 38 years old now. He's older, more wear and tear, whatever. Oh, it's just wrestling, fine, but there's a limit. Even Anderson Silva got to a point where he got caught on the chin, and that was good night for him. I just don't see this ending well in any way. I mean, I guess the only hope is he gets with a good camp, and I guess he's using all the same guys, and there were all the rumors before that even in his training camp, don't punch me in the face. You're not allowed to hit me in the face. Which, fine, it's sparring and stuff, protect your head, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you got to figure out how to take a punch. Like, that's something you got to learn about yourself. And if you can't do it, this is the wrong fucking place to be. I guess the only hope is he just gets in and just wrestles him. And I don't mean wrestling, of course, like he's going to go in there and give him an F5. No, I mean wrestling as in, just shoot a fucking takedown and get on top of him. He was an
all-American wrestler, and
Hunt's gas tank is questionable. Yeah, get on top of him, put all that big-ass mass body you got and lay on him, hammer fist him, work the elbows, make it to where they can't stand you back up, and even if they do, take him down again. Or make him get back up and then take him down again, and I think that's the strategy. A really boring fight, 3 rounds, 15 minutes, take it the distance, get out with a decision, and feel good about yourself. I think that's the best they can. I think that's the best he can hope for. He tries to.
I think he can hope for. He gets the takedown and bloodies his fucking face with some elbows, and they stop it. I mean, that's the best case scenario for Brock.
That's true. Yeah,
is him licking blood off of his fists at the end after a ref stoppage, because that's money for everybody.
That's true. That would be very big business for everyone.
I mean, I think that's where I'm looking at it, because I mean, I'm a casual MMA fan. I watch the big fights, so I've seen Hunt. I followed Lesnar's career. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can break down, anything. But
I used to write for an MMA site, so that's.
I know I'm not saying you. That's why I'm saying.
In case people are like, "What does he know?"
Yeah. I mean, from a business perspective, for Dana White's perspective, in terms of selling this fight, it's a phenomenal matchup. I mean, everything of its styles make fights. There's comparable age. There's reasons that either team could talk themselves into thinking that they've got a chance. I mean, I think the knee-jerk reaction is what Hunt's going to knock him the fuck out. But Emma, you don't know what's going to, especially in the heavyweight ranks, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we just saw Michael fucking Bisping knock out Luke Rockhold, so anything can happen.
And one of the big reasons that was such a big deal was Bisping showed tremendous resiliency to trauma that he has suffered in his career, right? Like UFC 100, the same event that Lesnar headlined and knocked Frank Mir's fucking head off. In the same way you're talking about the hope is now, Dan Henderson separated Michael Bisping's soul from his body.
That was one of my favorite moments ever. Actually, I hate Bisping so much from those days that I still can't even buy into this is so great for him now. I still hate him. I want Hendo to knock his face off again.
It was the most satisfying fucking knockout you'll ever see, because it was built up by the Ultimate Fighter.
Yep. Back when that show still mattered.
Yeah, Bisping was horrid, and Hendo's just the most laid-back, chill motherfucker that you'd find. He's the dude having a barbecue with his teeth out, his dentures out, and yucking it up, and you're feeling good about him, the American. And the Brits, the loudmouth, fucking brashy, fucking cocky piece of shit who shouldn't be cocky, because to that point in his career, you could question every win that he had under his fucking belt. Well, they get to the fight, and fucking Bisping, not to talk too much MMA, but this was too good.
I think we're way past that at this point.
Bisping was circling to his left all fight, which is to the power hand. Henderson's entire shit is, they call it the H-bomb, which is dumb as hell, but it's legit. He's just winds up with this huge right hand, and he was going for it, and Bisping just kept circling into it and circling into it and circling into it. Finally, I think it was the second round, fucking Hendo loads this thing, takes 2 whole steps. And somehow Bisping just circles right in, and he's got his shit down, and he fucking clean out. Not only that, he jumps into the air and comes down with another punch that connects clean to Bisping's face while he's knocked out and gasping for fucking air. Fighting is, have you ever been in a real fight, Sean? Like a legit fight?
I mean, not like an organized one, but yeah.
Right, but like a fight. Like you're fucking, like it's nasty business, man. Like it is, you get punt. You can't know how you'll respond to it until you do it.
No,
right?
it's the Fight Club thing about how you don't know yourself until you've been in a fight. I mean,
exactly. And that sounds silly, you kind of get that smirk, but at the same time, it's not wrong.
Well, I wouldn't say you can't know yourself, but there's certain things you don't know about yourself. Until
you learn a lot about yourself when you get into a fight. What kind of, how you really are. And what we learned about Bisping was he responded to a traumatic event like that. This happened on the most purchased pay-per-view in the history of the UFC. 1.6 million people bought that show, or 1.6 million buys. Many, many more watching in bars and everything around the world. We're talking maybe, let's be generous and say 5 million people. Watch that man get his fucking head clean. Holy shit, dude. He was so fucking knocked out, waking up going, what happened? And like cameras right in his face, glossy-eyed, gone. That'll change your life. He's the champ now. He just won the title. He knocked out a dude who was champ, who was also really good. He beat Anderson Silva. Like, this Anderson Silva, one of the greatest mixed martial artists in the history of the fucking world. Like, that dude actually came back from that. Brock, he got knocked out by Cain Velasquez and embarrassed. The next fight he came back in, he didn't look like he had a fucking clue what he was doing. Overeem embarrassed him too. It didn't even get out of the first round. He never at any point looked comfortable. He doesn't look like he knows how to even throw a proper punch. And that's not like talking shit like I'm somehow, better than he is, whatever. But I just feel like this could be disastrous for Brock. Probably not for WWE, because I don't know that it matters so much, because he did have those 2 losses and he came back and it still had the same aura.
I mean, I think the danger for WWE is that Bisping moment, that Jose Aldo moment. Yeah. I mean, if he gets chumped, that's the problem.
Because you can say that he never went to sleep. He was never knocked out. They were.
And I think even if he gets knocked out and he gets a couple takedowns and it's at least like a 3-minute fight, that's fine. You can talk your way around that. He was trying for his dream of coming back and seeing if he still had it. He found out he could do it, but he didn't quite have it, and so now he's back in WWE. You can sell that.
Not at that level.
If he charges at Hunt, takes 1 punch, and goes night-night, that's a problem, I think.
It's a bit like, I guess, maybe the Ronda Rousey fight even.
Yeah.
Her fight with Holm. I mean, if he gets knocked out like that, how do you come back from that?
Well, she's the one. I mean, that's the other example that I was thinking of when you were talking about Bisping, is we haven't seen her ass since. And people were talking about, like, WWE might be trying to get her for WrestleMania. Her star is, I mean, I think she needs to show up in a fucking octagon and prove that she's got some guts before she's half as marketable. She's backing out of movies now. I mean, her life got wrecked.
Heard the book on her now. She was a front runner. Well, you're a bully. You're a fucking bully.
We knew that even when she was popular. I mean, that she was a heel, and then she started to not lose, and then she turned into a face. But she was still, I mean, yeah, there were always people saying, "Oh, watch out for that one."
And you also learn a lot about who you are when shit's not going your way. You learn a lot about a human being when they don't get what they want. And she went on Ellen and straight up said, "I thought about killing myself. Who am I? I just got knocked out in front of a lot of people. Again, a million. I think that did over 1 million buys. They went to fucking Melbourne, Australia, in front of a huge crowd, a huge live crowd, and she was knocked clean the fuck out and just sleeping. She became a meme, and it's 2016 now, so I can't imagine what it must be like for her to get into her mentions on her damn Twitter and just see a bunch of memes of her knocked out, sleeping, her arms fully extended because she's unconscious. And that's, your body does weird things when your brain shuts off that way. And how do you come back from that? She didn't even want to show her face. She flew home and TMZ and stuff, and she's got her face like fully covered. Like, don't look at me. Like, she said she couldn't even bite. She couldn't eat an apple because her teeth were fucked up from the knocked out, right? From getting knocked out. So again, it's just all this to say is, like, this kind of shit takes like a big toll on you. Like, it makes me think of it's kind of silly almost to bring up, but it makes me think of that one movie, Knockaround Guys, and Vin Diesel does that promo. The 500 fights promo. He tells the dude, he says, he's just like 500 fights. That's what I figure you need to call yourself a legitimate tough guy, just on the street. Just have 500 fights. It doesn't matter if you're winning or you're losing. Just you need to have them. And Brock has had, I think it's 8 career fights. He's responded very poorly to any violence against him within those fights. And he lost his last 2 in some devastating fashion. And he's talking like it was partially the sickness. So you have a whole fucking bunch of things with a dude who's used to basically getting his way. Basically everything kind of goes how he wants it to go. And now he's getting in there with a guy who absolutely has the ability to embarrass him just as bad as, if not more than, the guys who embarrassed him previously. I think it's fascinating for a number of reasons, both psychological, physical, and like you said, just for the matchup. I can't wait to see what happens. And I also can't wait to see the fallout, because if he does get fucking knocked out, is he going to be at SummerSlam? Is WWE going to change their mind about how they feel about booking him? This is the guy that beat the streak, and then he partially beat the streak because Undertaker liked the fact that he was a legitimate fighting champion in the UFC, and now he returns to the UFC and gets knocked the fuck out, like after beating the streak. And then who got the rub? No one ever really got the rub at all, and nothing ever worked out with that. So there's a lot of angles to this that are actually really fascinating.
I mean, there's also, like I said, if it goes to the best possible, Brock Lesnar's wet dream and he wins, either by going the distance or with a TKO kind of a thing, I mean, what does he do then? I mean, he's proven that he's not afraid to defy Vince. I mean, he fucking went to Japan for a while just because Vince wouldn't let him work anywhere else. And then, he's got a year and a half left on his contract, but if he goes and just tells Vince, I want another fight, Vince has already said yes to one.
Maybe it's a scenario where they could work some stuff out and start kind of almost not co-promoting, I guess, but in a way.
Well, I think that's what he's trying to set up with all of his "I'm the modern day Bo Jackson" quotes, which I don't even know how many people even get that reference at this point, but
he's no Bo Jackson.
No, and doing pro wrestling and MMA isn't exactly football and baseball, but anyway. But I mean that's what I mean. He's selling himself. I mean, I was talking to some people on Twitter after the announcement came, where I made just an 140 character claim that he's one of the best workers of all time, and I'm not saying he's drawing for Vince necessarily. He's drawing for himself, and he's got all the attention on him again. And I'm sure he got a nice paycheck from Dana to come, because they can say all they want about how, they weren't worried about not having Rousey and McGregor, but they were fucking worried about not having Rousey and McGregor on 200. Not having either of them when they had planned on maybe having both of them.
As far as their business goes, they were certainly, I think they were up in profits, or they were up in revenue, or whatever it was over the past year or so. And I think a big part of that, and they knew that, was the fact that they, I don't want to say stumbled upon, but in some ways, Rousey and McGregor are monster draws. And I think people underestimate that. As far as traffic goes, and we see the numbers for our sister MMA sites, massive. Massive, way bigger than anything in pro wrestling. McGregor fights and he's on his game. They're doing numbers like we can't touch, because we just don't have anyone like that in wrestling right now. And the reason for that is, like we talked about before, I mean, they're doing babyface specials for the guy that they want to be heel, and in turn doing so, making you like him, and in turn, because you're not allowed to cheer him, you end up booing the dude he's going against. Reigns is the guy you're supposed to like and is supposed to be the big star. What a fucking mess. The UFC doesn't have that problem. They really don't. They know how to push these guys, even though the UFC oftentimes is in almost the same boat as WWE in the sense of their leadership is egotistical guys who just can't get out of their own way sometimes. When it comes to the big stars, they manage to do so. Those guys are big stars. Brock wasn't. He was averaging like 1 million buys when he was winning at the height of his powers, but then he lost and he wasn't averaging that. I think the Overeem fight did like 540,000 buys, which is like half of what he'd been doing. So how big of a draw is he now? Has WWE helped that? How much will is there a rub for CM Punk even? I mean, because Punk's apparently fighting about a month later. Yep. If that happens. The double secret back surgery that could occur.
Could happen. You never know.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of really interesting, fun angles with this. But what I feel like will happen is, to me, I think all the interesting, fun angles are for UFC. I don't know that WWE is going to come out of this any better off than they were before, because I don't think you're going to take UFC fans and make them WWE fans. I think you could absolutely take WWE fans and make them UFC fans. That happened to me.
Yeah.
So it's, I just don't know that for WWE it's going to be, and that's probably why they didn't even mention it on Raw.
No.
They
and
wrote
that's,
an article, but yeah.
Ambrose was on SportsCenter, and the one video, the one clip of it that WWE didn't retweet and promote was the one where he was talking about Mark Hunt. So
there you go.
They're not. I don't think they're thrilled. I think they're kind of. I think they got to a point where I don't know that they know what to do with Brock at this point. And and so Vince is rolling the dice on this.
Yeah, and it's understand leverage, and Lesnar understands.
And one thing, I mean, Swift was one of the guys I was talking to about this on Twitter. He has not been I mean, he hasn't broken the gate for WWE. They had trouble selling out the LA show that he was on, the house show.
Yeah.
So, I think he's a very marketable asset. He gets them access to things like ESPN and things like that they wouldn't get otherwise. But he is not, I mean, he's not Steve Austin or The Rock.
And the question is, can anybody be that in today's day and age?
True. Yeah. But I mean, he doesn't do that for them. He's very valuable, but he's not that.
It's kind of funny too that part of his off time now will be UFC instead of WWE.
Yep.
Back to TakeOver, I guess. There were other matches we didn't talk about. We haven't talked about.
I know. It's just, that was a long.
La Sombra.
Yes, Cien, I guess they're calling him. It looks like in the interviews is how the
Cien.
No, just Cien.
Oh, Cien.
Sorry, I was saying and then
Cien.
Cien. So yeah, most of his. I don't know if you watched those Fallout videos. I feel like 99% of them are in different languages other than English, which is interesting.
Well, they're cultivating international talent.
They are. But well, I mean, like, we'll have them. Like, there's a couple people that refuse to comment. Both Jax and American Alpha did that bit, and then Asuka's is mostly in Japanese. Shinsuke's is just in whatever Nakamura language, and Almas Cien is mostly Spanish with a couple lines of English thrown in. So
Triple H called Nakamura Macklemore during his live chat. That tickled me.
On purpose?
I don't know. Probably not. You saw the quotes he was putting out. That man didn't have a fucking clue what he was talking about. He must have been tired.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. He's on his way to fucking Europe now or whatever. And
so you thought Cien?
I enjoyed that match.
It was fun.
It was fun. I think it's weird that people are sort of talking about Dillinger more than they're talking about the big star they debuted. But
Full Sail did that, right? I mean, and
Dillinger's over like that everywhere. I mean, he's a fun act to get behind. Yeah.
It's amazing what the number 10 can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to use it. Right?
Yep.
Dude got over with it, and that's cool and good for him. I thought it was a fun match.
Yep.
Good action. Good American action.
Good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they gave us absolutely nothing in terms of direction for either of these guys. I guess, I mean, they gave us the parting shot of Dillinger looking like frustrated that he lost, so he's sort of got a character arc. But they don't know. They still mostly present him like a heel, even though he's massively over with every crowd he's in front of. We don't know anything about Almas other than that he wears a pimp hat.
Yeah, he wears a white hat with a feather in it.
Yep. So we have no character there at all. He was usually a heel. Yeah.
He's a good-looking man.
Yeah, exactly. So, he works a crowd-pleasing style. So I don't know if he's going to work as a heel in the States, but
he's very pretty, and with the white and the brim hat and the feather, I feel he might want to sell me on the streets.
He might.
I'm okay with it. I think he's pretty enough. I might be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he
tells
you that you're special and loves you, and
I'll fetch a few bucks.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's into something different.
Did you like? What does that mean? Let's not do it.
It means that I don't think you look like Andrade Cien Almas.
I fucking absolutely do.
More money.
If I did, you think I'd be doing this?
True.
What'd you feel about Aries and Nakamura?
I liked it. I ended up liking it. I thought it took a long time to get going.
Yeah, a lot of rest holds.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, that seems to be like the most divisive match among people. Like, some people were really into it and defending it. I thought it was. I mean, it ended up being good. I mean, they got pretty vicious with it. That Death Valley Driver on the apron was a scary fucking spot to do. And I'm not sure exactly why Austin Aries decided to throw himself into a railing at the end of the match, but I guess that
was great, wasn't it?
That's the story they were going for, I guess, is that he was so desperate to prove that he could beat him. He didn't want to take the count out. And so, And I think they're setting up Nakamura Joe for Brooklyn, which should be awesome. So yeah, it was good. I mean, you see the other knock on this, which I don't know how much I buy into it, is that like NXT is wasting Nakamura, because he is older and he's got a lot of miles on that body, both in wrestling and in MMA. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I buy that. I don't know what he'd be doing on the main roster either right now. So might as well use him to grow the brand and work these matches in. It was annoying how hard they were selling this on being like some sort of dream match that we'd all been fantasy booking for years, because that wasn't true.
Yeah.
I'm an Aries fan, but this was still not. I mean, I wasn't like, oh God, I hope one day I get to see a double and Nakamura.
Yeah.
And they were selling that hard. That was the build. And if you didn't buy into that, it was a weird build to be selling.
Yeah, there was no part of me that was like, oh man, fucking Aries to me, Aries and Dream Match just kind of don't go together.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk down about Aries because he's got his strengths and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's fine. It's fun to watch some of his matches, but he's a little herky-jerky for my taste. Like when he does the suicide dive.
Yeah.
Right, he sets up for it. The way he runs across, he looks like he's holding in an impossibly large shit at all times. So yeah, I don't know. It was fine.
I mean, like I said, I like Aries, but there's a couple of things against him. One is he's a very short man. I'm sorry. And it's hard. I mean, I'm not usually one to like hold size against somebody, but he made that part of him makes suspending disbelief harder for me. And he's been doing this for a long fucking time now. I mean, I think he's 38. He's like a 15-year vet. So
yeah.
I mean, he's not a spring chicken either. So
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nakamura's still he's still
sexy. Still sexy to you.
He is sex, dude. Making sweet, sweet love through his entrance and his wrestling. I'm a big fan of it.
Good. What do you think about Full Sail singing his entrance? Is that what you're looking for?
There was a dude in a white shirt in the front row that I was entirely certain was about to OD at any moment. He was. Maybe you can speak to it better than I can. My man looked like he was on so many drugs.
They were in. No, see, I mean, I've got a history with drugs and alcohol, but I am not from Florida. I feel like that's taking it to a whole nother level. They probably have shit that I never even heard of. They're on down there.
That dude was in fuego. Like, my man was doing the hand stuff and fucking like getting way too into it. I don't know. I think they did. There was a rest spot and they started doing the hum along thing and the sing along thing, and it was like, all right, guys. It just felt it wasn't like organic. It just felt so much more like, because I do this. I have that on my phone. I go for a walk and that comes on. I'll do the same thing. I'll fucking It's fun, but when you're at a show and it's like, well, there's a rest hold, let's get our shit in. That's how it felt to me. Like they wanted to be a part of the show instead of be at a show and let the other people do the entertaining. Which, I mean, I don't know. What's funny is I feel like I thought about this. If I was at a show and that was going on, I'd probably be that guy in the white shirt freaking out on all the drugs, dude. Like, that's probably exactly what I would be like. I'd just be so into it. And I'd be like, you know what? Sean and Geno can fucking kiss my ass. I'm having a good time.
Exactly. God bless. I mean, and I'm not, at no point when I criticize Full Sail or like the British crowd in London, I'm not saying you're bad people or anything like that. I'm just saying, you're making yourself part of the show. So I'm commenting on that. Yeah. That's all.
I'm a cranky old fuck, and I want you to die. But have a good time.
Much. But yeah, no judgment.
Yeah, no judgment. Yeah, you're just annoying.
Just go die. Shit. Yeah.
Just go die in a fire.
I ain't mad at you. I just don't want you to be alive anymore.
Yeah, just get out of my facial. What else was there? Oh yeah, there were.
So then there was Asuka Nia.
The top two matches on the show, I guess.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
How'd you feel about that one?
I really liked it, actually. I was pleasantly surprised. Asuka's a weird one for me. She's not somebody that I think of as like being one of my favorites when I'm not watching her wrestle, but then she gets into one of these big matches and I get really sucked into it.
Yeah.
And she did, and that happened again. And I like the dynamic they went with. It's, Nia's not scared, and that freaked Asuka out a little bit, but she's too crazy to quit. And
again, just like the Brock thing.
Yep.
But the opposite. Like, oh shit, I'm used to terrifying people screaming Japanese at him and like acting, scary. And Nia's like, fuck you doing? Like, I picked her up when she picked her up by her hair and just threw her across the ring. That's a really good spot.
Yeah.
Then Asuka gets up and she's like, oh shit. Like, I can't just do what I normally do. But again, good storytelling. Like, that's the thing with all the NXT matches. The stories are always really good. And that's
and like even when the build isn't great, they still manage to, and maybe that's a function of the fact that they do get to practice for these takeovers. We've talked about that before. I mean, this is not like they did 3 house shows and then they have to go do a pay-per-view like you do on the main roster. They can be at the Performance Center laying these things out, figuring out what they want to do. I'm going to react this way to this. I don't know that they always do that, but they can, and I think you see that. So even when the build isn't phenomenal, you still get a story presented in the ring.
Wasn't the go home contract signing that she like Asuka tried for like a kick or like
Nia caught the kick and transitioned it into a power bomb and planted her. Yeah.
So Asuka's like, oh, it's like, wait, might be fucked. And then the match was good because she just kept going for submissions, right? So it's like she learned from, okay, if I try the kick, it's not gonna whatever, right? Went for submissions and the same shit was happening.
Yep.
She's just powering out and fucking slamming her and throwing her across the ring. So what the fuck do I do?
Keep kicking her in the head.
Yep. Eventually, it was you wore her out with the submissions, and then just started kicking her in the head. And then even after 3 kicks to the head, she's screaming like a fucking banshee. And it's like, I'm terrified right now. Like both of these women are like so fucking scary. Which huge turn on, by the way. But and then just so she screams. She's like, okay, I'll just kick you in the face again. Also good stuff. Got the pin. Thought it was. It's another one of those like NXT does those finishes sometimes where you're not sure how to feel about it because it doesn't feel like what you're used to. A build to a 3 count and everyone goes along and it's the finish. Sometimes they do these where it's like, oh wow, that was the finish, and you look back and it's good, but in the moment maybe whatever. So
I feel like this one they had the opener was kind of like that for me. This one was like that, and the main event were all kind of like, oh, I wasn't really expecting the finisher right there.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, I don't know that that's a bad thing, but it's sort of like jarring in the moment because it doesn't go strictly to the formula we're used to watching for 5 to 8 hours a week on the other WWE shows.
Yep. All right, main event. Let's hit it.
I would also just say that I think I was sort of on the fence about Nia until the last few weeks, and I'm not anymore.
She's great.
She's not all the way there yet, but she's going to be great. She keeps getting better, which is really what you're looking for. I mean, her last 3 matches, the Bayley one on TV, the triple threat, and this one are the 3 best matches she's ever had. So that's a good sign.
And I also think I want to see her succeed also too, just on the basis of the fact of how she looks. And I think that maybe that comes off wrong, but what I mean when I say that is she doesn't look like, she's not, Sasha Banks is great. Sasha Banks looks like she weighs 85 pounds.
Yeah.
People don't look that way. Normal people don't look like that. Normal people, and Nia doesn't necessarily, I guess, look normal either. I mean, she's really well built or whatever, but like she does. She's closer to normal. I think it's a selling point with a guy like Kevin Owens, or even remember Dusty Rhodes died, and we talked about how it was cool because he was so successful. Even he didn't, like he said, but Bayley's just a little big, but brother, I'm bad, and they know I'm bad.
Yep.
Like that's really cool to me. So I really hope she succeeds.
I think she's what's the woman who was on? She got one of the Sports Illustrated covers. Is it Ashley Graham? Is that her name?
Oh,
she's a plus size model,
which is horseshit. The plus size,
it's ridiculous. She's a normal woman.
Yeah, she looks like a person.
Exactly, and Nia's in that same mold because Nia is fucking beautiful. I mean, she is. She walks out there. She looks like she'd probably murder you, but she's on the runway at a fashion show while she's going to do it.
Yeah, I did the screenshot. I will, if she instructed me to, I'd bow down in front of her.
Exactly.
And would be very happy to do.
And it's but I totally agree. Yeah, like as with I'm pretty sure her name's Ashley Graham. As with that, it's a beautiful woman who isn't a stick figure, and that's a good thing. We need
the
more
norm.
Of that images out there.
She's the norm. You know what's not normal? Fucking abs like Bayley.
Yeah,
who are in the gym for 6 hours a day. Normal people can't do that. Normal people have lives. Normal people can't be in the gym all the time killing themselves.
And some people, Nia's probably in the gym a lot. I mean, sometimes you're just,
yeah, genetics.
What's she gonna do? She's Samoan.
You're not blessed with genetics to give yourself a fucking 9-pack. And and you know what? The other thing is too is it's like I don't like that this whole idea exists of like the aesthetic that everyone prefers as a 10-pack. I don't.
Yeah. No, I don't either.
Nia has a body type that I prefer. right? And I don't need you to, Alexa Bliss is like, she's great or whatever. These women are so small and like, unassuming, and like Sasha and all, like they're so little. You're too little. What about the people like me who are like, if the idea is to sell that, right? And that's what they do. That's what they bring those people in part because they want to sell how they look.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the idea, why are you not selling to me? What about me? No. I don't prefer that.
Now you've got Nia Jax.
Now I've got Nia Jax. Hopefully,
and
she succeeds.
Nikki Bella, who.
And Nikki.
Yeah, this is the guy who's like, Eva is the best.
That's funny too, because I'm a huge Eva fan. People are like,
out of silicone, I think. But
yeah, I'm a huge Eva fan. Like, look at Eva's body. Eva looks like an actual real life doll. Like, she looks like a Final Fantasy VII character.
I mean, I like that about Bayley actually too. I mean, even though she's got this workout figure, she's also, she's got some curves to her. And
we don't need to get into your thoughts on
right.
Bayley.
I like Bayley.
We'll go way off the rails.
I know. All right, so the main event.
I don't even want to talk about the main event because I don't care about.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, they are, to me, they're like the fucking Cena Orton of NXT.
They really are, dude.
I fucking love Samoa Joe. I thought he did some great. He did some great stuff in this. I thought his post-show promo. I'm going to do a whole post on that afterwards. I watched it 16 times this morning. I love the dude, but it's just nothing. I get nothing out of these matches. Yeah, not nothing. I'm exaggerating, but they
was fine.
I don't remember. I already have forgotten it. Like
every steel cage match I've ever seen, they didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, and they're doing the escape the cage stuff, which is always fucking lame.
And it doesn't make any sense in this feud. The whole point was that they hate each other so much, and William Regal was worried for other people's safety, so they had to be kept in there.
And plus, for it to
first thing they do is walk to the door.
Yeah. You're doing an escape the cage thing when it was booked to say this can't spill out into the crowd because that's how much they hate each other.
Yep.
Why the fuck is the cage open then?
Yeah.
They can literally climb out of the top, and in fact, that's the point. But then ultimately, that's not the finish you go with. That's the other thing that bugs me about steel cage matches like this.
Yep.
If all they're going for the whole match is to escape it, and the finish is a pin, that's like you're just like pissing on my shoe.
Yep.
Like you knocked on my door and sold me something, and then pissed on my shoe. Like when it came time to deliver the goods that I actually got invested in. Don't get me invested in one thing and then give me another thing. Just keep me invested in the one thing you're going to pay off for me. That's the whole point of all this wrestling. American Alpha and the Revival. That's why it was so good. You got invested in them either overcoming or not overcoming, and when they couldn't overcome that much cheating, you got pissed at the dudes who cheated them. There was none of that here. Here it was just the exact opposite. You got invested in maybe someone's going to escape the fucking cage, and then no one did. They just did a normal pin. But at least Balor lost in the paint, so it's no longer a spoiler. And whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I got nothing more for it. I don't really care that much about either of them.
No, I mean, I guess we can. I mean, Finwatch is going to pick up. That's
it continues.
That's going to happen now. He's going. He's definitely on this Ireland UK tour that they leave on after tonight's taping.
Doesn't rule anything out, but yeah. What's going to be fun?
He probably won't be on next week. I think we'll be at peak speculation for Money in the Bank, is my guess, because he'll be back. We'll already know from the NXT tapings whether they officially write him off or not.
What's funny is the Finwatch is going to continue even after he debuts. I'm just going to keep putting did he appear? Yes.
Will there be a different picture then, though?
Yeah, I'll put a different picture up of him in the demon face paint. When the drugs wore off.
Yeah, he was licking the cage too. That dude's nasty.
I had a good Twitter night, I think. People really liked my shtick. My jokes got over, especially Neville looking like a burned out math teacher. My man was just. I like the beard though. I like the big brim glasses and the beard.
Man, he just won't stop buttoning that top button. That is just. I hate that.
You and Mark Breakkid need to do your show already.
I'm telling you, we do.
All right, we got an hour.
Fashion.
Can you believe it? We got a full hour out of this.
You want to talk? Well, we did 40 minutes on MMA fight breakdowns, but Slammiversary this weekend. You got any thoughts?
Oh man, really good total nonstop action. Brother Nero.
It is. It's the payoff of Brother Nero.
You know what? Decker's gonna be covering that show for us. And I just hope that by the time it's all said and done, he won't need Ambien to go to sleep, motherfucker.
You think he's a nerd?
Dude, you didn't go out on that.
No, I was waiting because I thought you were going to say the nerd thing.
Perfect was that for a close for you, and you fucking blew it.
Because I thought you were going to say nerd.
I think you're a nerd.